Hey, remember? I don't see it. It's paused. Huh?
Yeah, look, they said that I couldn't do it, so I wouldn't did it. W's only, you know I've been winning. Top of the world, the globe is spinning. Yeah, if you know, you know, I've been on a what mission. Okay, let's get it. Got a little time on my hands like a wristwatch. I don't got time for the breaks and the pit stop. Race through the gridlock, take it like Chris Rock. Right to the chin, still win. Heavy metals like Slipknot. Got it driving, I got tunnel vision. I just hit my stride the way I run the business. I've been making paper like I'm Thunder Mifflin. See the end game, I got one division. Look, I don't ever bother with a critic. Hit him with a chronicle of Riddick. Boom, bottle full of Ritalin. I hit him with a little bit of riddle me this, riddle me that. My bad, fell asleep at the gas. No time to wait though. Elon Musk, I'm trying to bankroll. New Tesla just cause I say so. Electric whip like Ivan Vanko. I just did it. W's only, you know I've been winning. Top of the world, the globe is spinning. If you know, you know, I've been on a mission. Okay, let's get it. Been on a mission like totally spice. I'm a very she felt, but she totally nice. Yo soy blue en el toso, le cuente con pini, me chao, le subo my life. You know, for sure, but he left with a wire. Yeah, we live what we destined to die. You see it on me, but I meant that I lie. They fumo las members, I buy in the couch. Good in the season.
Can you just lower that for a second while we're getting on the call?
They said that I couldn't do it, so I wouldn't did it. W's only, you know I've been winning. Top of the world, the globe is spinning. Yeah, if you know, you know, I've been on it.
It's okay.
Okay.
Okay, it's my time. It's okay, babe. I got it. I'm gonna go right now. Don't use that. But I don't know. Now when I get a call, if somebody decides to call, that's all right.
I'm gonna figure it out.
Okay.
But I don't know if even.
Wish you would've told me that you felt this way. You been stringing me along with every word you say. You hanging me out to dry. Happened 1,000 times. I guess I should've seen it coming any day now, bro. I thought we had it, loving the magic. You had the gasoline in the matches. Lit me on fire, spark up the passion. But I guess it really just wasn't what I imagined. Oh, guess I gotta live with that, huh? Chest got a hole that could fit on my truck. Spat on the ground, I ain't getting back up. But I
See, sir. What's up, everyone? All right, I guess it's that time. Oh, wait, let me turn this music off. Right. I don't know if you guys could hear that. Got this great artist on right now. My bad. Can you hear me? Yeah, boy. All right. Clap once if you hear me. Class is in session. How's everybody doing out there? See, sir, you got Bella. Very excited to have you guys live with me. Welcome to No Running in the Halls. I have a really great topic today. As I ran into a world of problems today, you know what? I'm gonna close the door quickly to the studio office. Give me 1 second. I left it open because it was a little hot in here, and I'm wearing a hoodie because it says ramen, and I love ramen. So anyway, so I had run into a couple of issues today. I had some people, some guest speakers today, and one of them decided against it. I don't know particularly why, but um, that's left to their device. And the other one got sick, really sick. And then I had I had a third choice, and that person, just busy. It was a last minute thing. I really couldn't say much. When you got last minute things happening, and it kind of derails all that you want to do, you're left to fend for yourself. So we have a great show today. I'd like to think so. The show is titled "Is the Grass Always Greener?" Right? The Grass Always Greener is episode 2 title, and I bet you're probably wondering what that means. And if you are, I will tell you. And if you're not wondering what it is, then I'm still going to tell you. So being a happily employed Department of Education employee, um, sometimes you get frustrated, and sometimes you know, you get conflicted, and you get disappointment, and you get sometimes anger. I'm sure that exists in all jobs, right? I can't begin to tell you how much I think working for a living sucks. That's for sure. Like, I don't know if humans were meant to do this much work to make money to buy things that we need. It's a crazy existential idea, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and start the show with, is the grass always greener? So I remember a time in my career where I'm only in the business about 9 years, going on 10. And I have to tell you, there was a year where I felt like I was being a little shitted on. And it was by a specific person, but in reality, I just don't think that that should happen, especially in the position that they're in. But whatever, water under the bridge. But I was just going through some stuff personally too, and I got to tell you, I really wasn't in a good head spot, as people say. And I wanted to leave, like I wanted to leave my building, and I had met such great people, and really fun people. That idea has changed a lot too as time went on. Now I have a quick little insert. I was hired with 13 other teachers in 2014 in my building, and there was 14 people coming into a building um, of education, wondering, why are there so many people being hired? What happened in the school? This is District 25, a great district, as some of you may or may not know. And it was just an interesting, like, it was almost like a really weird feeling, like you're coming into a building, why is there so many positions open? And yeah, like, that's odd, because then you're thinking, like, people don't want to teach here. Is that the thing? But it actually didn't turn out that way. Although I have my own views on my building, this show isn't about bashing my own building, or saying nice things about it. It's really a collective, and experiences from my building will be said, of course. But it's experience, and you chalk it up to good or bad, but it's still experience. It's like, what is it called? What do they say? Exposure, or being, exposure is not good or bad. It's kind of a little bit of both, right? But yeah, there was one year I wanted to leave. And I literally had asked a good friend of mine in another nearby school. I, like, might have bothered this person a couple of times if there were any positions, and in special education. He actually went out on a limb and checked for me, and then I ended up not doing it. But I think it was better that I didn't. And that's why the show is titled "Is the Grass Always Greener?" Because in my building, I know so much. You know, they always say, like, know your enemy, right? Or know your ally, right? It goes both ways. Know your enemy and your ally. So I always say, I know the people I work with. I know how to speak to them. I know how to deal with them. I know how to confront them. I know how to negotiate with them. I know all those things are. I'm pretty after 9 years, almost close to 10. I really do have a fix on how I am able to speak to certain people in my building. Now, don't get me wrong. There's people in my building that I don't really talk to, and then there's people in the building that I really enjoy talking to. Um, um, yeah, I'm talking about you, pal. Um, so I sometimes think if I had made that move, that little chess move, it would have been a bad chess move, I think, on my part. Now, I'm a person of convenience. I love convenience. So I I like to stay local, right? I wouldn't, I think it's ridiculous how some people travel an hour and a half to work. I think honestly, like, make it my opinion, get mad at me for it. I'm sorry, but like, I I played chess, not checkers, you know? Like, I meticulously picked out this school and other ones because of where I live, right? Now I get it, people who live in Long Island jobs are harder to get, especially in education. But I mean, yeah, I it was a chess move, right? So I picked the school that I'm at, and the person who was helping me out at that time of need for me was in a nearby school that was actually closer to my home. So I really I thought it was pretty nice. And I had been in that school. I worked there during some summer camps. Actually, I worked there during Summer Rising, if anyone knows what that is. So it was like a statewide thing. Anyway, or I think at least it was a statewide. Maybe it was a city thing. I'm not sure. Um, so I thought about it and I was like, wow, it's a closer school to my home. It's a really nice school, I hear. Some people beg to differ. I hear mixed reviews about that school, and they're all not justified. You know, some people just talk shit, and that's okay. Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't talk shit if you don't know what you're talking about, of course. But um, yeah, I've been there. I've seen a little bit of the student body. I have a good friend that works there. He speaks lovely of the place, and I'm gonna go with him. I'm gonna go with him on that. But you're always entitled to your own opinion on things, right? Subjective as always. But I'm gonna go ahead and bring us back to the original idea here that in the Department of Education, and I'm sure in any job, specifically, we're talking about New York City jobs, but all across the board, we're going to run into things in our building that might not make us happy. I've heard horror stories about communication in a building. I certainly know about horrible communication, but I've also had really good communication. I'm not going to weigh them out, but I'll just say this. It gets times. Now, when I talk about communication, I talk about how to talk to not just the student body, right? Because that's another show I actually have. Um, I was going to actually tell you the title of it, but I don't think I'm set on it. But it's called Habla la Mio. Talk to me in Spanish. I thought that was pretty clever, but now that I think about it, I think I might change it. Anyway, it's not a big deal. So, hey, Haley, what's up? Hope the baby's doing good. I see some Instagram pics. He's adorable. Um, so we're talking about communication in the building, both with the student body, the faculty, and your admin. And this also goes to custodial. Custodians are important in buildings. And we get I hear horror stories about how like sometimes they're oh, my custodians are a bunch of jerks and they're assholes. And I'm like, you know what, man, you probably have treated them that way, and that's why they're jerks to you. Or, I don't keep the tidiest of rooms, but I'm very tight with the custodial staff. And I know all of their names, and we have secret handshakes. No, I'm just kidding. We don't have secret handshakes. But we're cool. And that's because I don't treat them like shit. And if I need something, they get it from me. And I don't know any other way to communicate with the people that clean your room. Like, I mean, sorry about your life, but it's not cool to be jerks to the custodial staff. Like they're hardworking guys and they try to do the best they can. And if you're gonna leave your room a pigsty, and I know I could be the first one to say, yo, it's their job. That the first thing on their list is clean rooms as a job description, right? But like you gotta like you help them out a little bit. You don't have to leave like large pieces of crumbled up paper on the floor. Ask the kids to pick it up, do stuff like this. That's the relationship that I have and that you should have with your custodial staff. But communication is key, right? And sometimes it doesn't come across really well. And that could put you in a world of like a little bit of a predicament. And um, I don't think jumping to conclusions, because I think I used to do that. I would get frustrated so much that I would actually go and I would move in on the checkers move, not the chess move, because chess moves are meticulous and well thought, right? But I would make checker moves, and that's not how lions act. If you ever see a lion in the wilderness, well, it's not the lion, it's the lioness that does the hunting, right? I hope we all know that. But props to females, props to females and female lionesses, as if there's another kind of lioness. Oh man. Anyway, so yeah, they're meticulous, man. They're gonna get that food. You know what I mean? And it's a chess move, and I used to not make chess moves, and now I do, um, because there's so many aspects in communication with your job and how you talk to people, because your delivery system is everything. Like, you could tell a person to go fuck off in the nicest way possible. You could tell somebody that they're invading your private space as gently as you can. You could tell someone they fucking smell bad in the nicest way possible, and they won't be offended, right? Um, it's like it's like somebody offering you a stick of gum or a Listerine strip, and automatically, out of nowhere, right? And automatically, yo, does my breath stink? You never know, right? Until they actually say it. So those are the kind of things that you want to like really look at when you're communicating. So um, I have I'm gonna say it, and I hope this enlightens people, or if anything, I hope maybe it kind of like gives newer teachers who are out there, because that's what like this show is about as well, like to really talk to new teachers and give them we have a couple of new teachers, and I kind of in a way talk to one of them, and I try to give this person advice here and there just based on my own experience, because that's all you have. I'm not an expert, I don't have all the answers, I say that all the time, but I feel like what I can offer is ideal at best, if not a well thought out piece of advice. Like I said, chess moves, right? So I'm gonna tell you a little story. In the Department of Education, it's a public school system, of course. They do try to enforce uniforms for the kids, but I don't know. You look at me. If anyone who doesn't know me out there, I am so anti-uniform, so anti business dress. I mean, business casual maybe, but you'll never see the kid in a tie and pointy brown shoes, or pleated dress pants. It's not going to happen, and you can't tell me otherwise. And when I found out, by research, chess moves, and talking to the right people, I realized that in the DOE, you can wear whatever you want. And I've seen men walk into buildings in a dress, and I'm okay with that, because you dress however you want. Now, people will make their opinions and give they'll probably judge somebody that they see different. It's just the way human beings act. So I like to wear hats. I'm a big hat guy. I think I came out of my mom's womb in a hat. And I mean, there's pictures of me and I'm two, and I'm wearing hats, probably even one. I bet you that's, but Sharon, gangster, my mom is gangster. Sharon probably will show you pictures, and she'll probably sit down for an hour or two over a cup of coffee with Sweet and Low, and to show you all these pictures. But that's neither here nor there. So I like to wear a hat. So I went and investigated this whole hat thing, because I was constantly told to take off my hat. And I get it. In 1940, people removed their hats in buildings they walked in. You went to a restaurant, you took off your hat. You walked into a hotel, you took off your hat. You walked into a bar, you took off your hat. It used to be that way, but it is 2030. We don't do that anymore. So I had this hat issue, right? And I feel like communication was everything. So I was asked to take off my hat by multiple people, and I was like, okay. Um, let me start off by saying no, thank you, and let me explain why. And I explained in a thorough conversation, very articulately, with a great delivery system of kind words and research. And I said, so with the backing of my UFT leader and my UFT representatives, I did a little research on what our rules are in the building at the DOE level. Chancellor's regulations is what they're called. And I basically said, I realize there's no dress code, and you may not love the hat, but I do, and it makes me feel good, and it makes me feel like I'm in the uniform that I use because this is what I wear. I wear hoodies, I wear nice sneakers. The kids like to the kids they like it, and I'm there to engage them, right? So I come in dressed to engage over 1,300 kids in a building. I'm not really there to engage the adults. Actually, I don't really give a fuck what the adults think. They probably think that this is a 45-year-old man who dresses like he's 13. But ask me if I give a shit, and I don't. But I'll dress like this because it makes my job easier. And you'll ask any of the kids if you could, does this guy is this guy stressed out? Is he a yeller? Does he call homes? I don't do that. Mm-mm. I'd use other more likable and I was 13 and 12 at one time in my life, and I remember it quite well. And I remember I was a terrible, 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 terrible adolescent, and I was even worse teenager. So I get it, but I am an educator now because I realized what I was like when I was a kid, and it took time. It took time to grow, and it took time to do all that stuff. But I just I used the right steps to communicate with the kids, and I use the right stuff to communicate with the adults because I, for the first time in my career, the person in persons that were asking me to take off a hat, which is, by the way, just so you know, in my opinion, of course, this hat has nothing to do with my pedagogical skills or talent. I am. This doesn't change unless you ask me to remove it and really fuck my whole day up because now I'm just like fuck this fucking person is asking me to take off my hat. I don't know how this has anything to do with teaching or anything to do with. But so with that said, I don't. Again, this is not a bashing post, but I'm just telling you how I felt that day. Um, the delivery system was great, and I was respected as a human being and as an adult, and I was respected in the way I delivered my message so that I may wear my hat in a building where people who are stuck in a certain time era didn't really like it. And I'm, again, this is not a mean statement, but I can't be concerned with what you like or not. I like this. And since there's no rule on it and I can't get in trouble or written up, I just decided to just keep wearing it. That said, um, I want to hear from you guys out there, and I see everyone up here. I see Tina. I see. Sorry, I see Stro. Is that Stro? Oh, I see a couple of people on here. Chime in. Let me know what your place of work looks like. How do you communicate? And there times you wanted to just see when you're a New York City employee, this is your career, whether you're a firefighter, whether you're a police officer, corrections, this is your career, right? But in teaching, you can go to another school. It happens all the time. Once you're a certified teacher and you've done all of the hoops to jump through and milestones of work and monies to pay for, you are a teacher. It's not you don't want to just quit. I mean, unless that was episode one. That was with Johnny Five, aka John Vick. Like, after a year, he had enough, man. It was like, get out, I'm out of here, man. Just not even a year and a half. It was one full school year, and then like maybe like 2.5, 3 months, he bounced. It wasn't for him. And it wasn't. It could have been just a school, right? I mean, remember if anyone remembers that show, he rated it an 8, so he kind of contradicted himself. But I think he meant to say that he was in hindsight it was 8, but at the time, just between you and me and the audience, I could see he wasn't happy there. So I'm gonna say it was probably more like a four, just the way I viewed it. And I think the eight was just him like, okay, now I'm out of there. I cut the cord and I'm out. So, oh man, come on, guys, let's get it off our chest, man. What do you guys got to say? I'm sorry if I missed anything. Haley says, thank you. So excited for this. Hey, oh, that was a little while ago. I'm sorry, Haley. Yeah, so Haley, I know this woman. She's a lovely lady. Really nice family she's got. Really beautiful family. We used to work together, and she's great. I don't know what Haley's doing this day. Maybe you could tell us and let us know what you're up to these days, or maybe you're just doing the mom thing. Now that's super cool, of course. But yeah, I would always like to hear how it goes on because if you don't communicate the right way, and that's with adults and children. I mean, I'm no doctor. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to. I just know from experience, and I've seen how others do it, and I don't think others do it well. Again, my opinion. I think other people think that delivering the message by yelling and being aggressive towards the person, and you know, if you have an opinion of somebody, there's always that long lasting um, old saying that says, if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say it to anybody. I mean, listen, you can follow that rule, and I'm positive things will be fine. But some people like they harbor it and they hold it in them, and the relationship with those people are terrible. Um, and I honestly, there's so many layers to that, but there's people in my building that I can't stand. I don't like them. I think number they could be a lot of things, and I'm not here to bash anybody, but I don't. But I just don't talk to them. You know, one of them I work very closely with, and I just don't talk to him. It's just not in my. We just don't. We're not the same. We don't think the same. We are not the same people, and that's okay. No one. No one's gonna please. Not everyone's gonna please everyone. Not one person in this world. I think except for Bob Ross, the painter, that everyone fucking loves. Everyone loves Bob Ross. He had such a soothing voice. Painting trees, happy trees is really cool. If you were an avid pot smoker during his era in the 80s and 90s, um, you probably lived a pretty dope life. You just watch it. So we got Haley back up. Let me see this. Sorry, I'm bringing myself a little closer. Hey, oh, do I have my reading glasses on? I do. I definitely agree with what you're saying. This is Haley. Communication and the way your way your message is being delivered is important, and that's with all the aspects in life. In your job, your relation. Oh, couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, job, home. Look, I'm not a dad, I'm not a father. I don't have any kids, nor do I plan on it. But I do have kids at my job, and I've had a lot of practice. I would do very poorly with the infants and the toddlers, and I think I would do a lot better with the high schoolers. But middle schoolers are going through so much stuff. They're pubescent. They're still trying to find their identity, and it's a crazy world for them. And I like that craziness. They say that guys like crazy girls, right? I like the I like the kids that are wild, but like I mean, not all the time. I mean, enough's enough sometimes. But I see and I hear just like the communication with these kids are so bad that the way I see it is when they come to me and they talk to me, you know, they're like, well, the other teacher was like, I'm not concerned with the other teacher, man. You're talking to me. If that person yelled at you and made you feel a certain type of way, that's them. I'm not going to do that. Um, but the delivery system that you're using for this message that you're coming across on has to be perfect. It can't be somewhat perfect. It can't be bad at all. You have to choose and pick your words correctly. Um, because even if you were telling somebody they were pretty or beautiful, you could say it in a way that's backhanded, and the message would be not received well. Like when people say stuff like, "Oh, yeah, you look good. You look good today. You look better yesterday," or "Yeah, man, you look good today. What's up with your eyebrows?" Like Those are backhanded compliments. So Haley hits back. The new thing is gentle parenting. That's similar to how we're delivering the way we speak to our children. Blessed. You know what I mean? Look, I'm not trying to say, you know, don't don't discipline your kids or don't like discipline is important, right? Because I was disciplined. Now, just so y'all know, I'm Gen X, the best generation ever. But there's a lot to be said about generations after my generation. We all have added something to the salad bowl, so to speak. But I grew up, I was hit and I was spoken to without any explanation. So sometimes I got hit and I was like, what the fuck? And my dad never said a word, just on with your merry way. And it was crazy. Oh, you know what I forgot real quick? Sorry, this show is brought to you today by Grim. Grim Brewery. Delish. I have here with me the I don't psychokinesis it's called. Look at that. Psychokinesis. I was actually scared to try and pronounce this word. I was so taken back by how hard that word was for like a half a second to say. So Grim, it is in Bushwick, and it is a beautiful brewery. We were there last. My company was there last weekend. But yeah, and I don't know what you're having to drink, folks, but I'm doing a little bit of whiskey tonight. Oh, Jameson to be correct. No, I was just checking the messages. But yeah, so we I want to move in. So guys, I like I said, I don't have a guest. I really wanted to hear from different perspectives. But I gotta say, when you are getting frustrated in your building or when you're not feeling happy, um, I always say it's best to research things and really get a lot of knowledge because let me tell you, I was at some point in my life very nervous to speak up about things, and I would be in bitch mode all day, you know, and that's not how lions act. Um, and I know I'm a lion, like but I wasn't acting like one. I was nervous and apprehensive, and I was very I didn't collect my words correctly. Um, but that's Simba, you know. That's Simba when he was like a baby. But now you have to say things right because I feel like some people use in buildings like the Department of Education or correct. I try to think to myself, do firefighters do they get crap at their job or do they ever feel this way? Do I want to know, do police officers feel this way? I mean, I know very few and I know very few cops that like left the job uh on their own merit. I know guys that have gotten kicked off the force, but I don't know if guys do people I mean, I know one person and I don't even know her. I know her from a colleague. I just I want to know like so check this out. Check this out. Ready? I have never. You're gonna love this story. Story time. Story time with Chavez. Um, I'm gonna start the story like this. Teacher, and this is a true story. Teacher gets the green light to collect money and permission slips for a trip. Teacher is said homeroom teacher for that grade level, and only teaches that grade level. The morning comes of the said trip. Said teacher was taken off. Said teacher was pissed. Said teacher went to his U of T rep, calmly explained what was going on. Said teacher was put back on the trip. Boom. Said teacher was invited to said person's office to speak about said situation. Boom. Said person was confused. Said person didn't know why he was being called in. Did I say he? I meant it. They. Said person was apologized to. Communication is key. What I liked most important about this story that was told to me, I really enjoyed the reason why said person was called into said office. Because relationships are important. And relationships with not just your family, but your friends, your kids, and your bosses should be good. Because I feel like if I'm wrong on this, someone throw me off of the Golden Gate Bridge, but doesn't communication and good communication throughout your job and your career make for a better and more comfortable career? Call me crazy, but like you could just say things better. You could just deliver your message easier. You could simply just use nicer words. You could simply be pleasant, even when you don't want to be. Okay. I'm not asking you, should you be, I'm not telling you or questioning you, should you be fake? No, no. But you got to put on the best version of you. Okay. There's days I walk in, I do not want to be bothered, but I'm not mean to anyone. No, not mean to anyone. I just don't. I'm quiet, and people will ask me, "Yo, Chavez, you okay?" And I'll say, "Yes, I'm fine. Just just having an off day." And we're all entitled to that. And I think we should look at those people and say, "Okay, they're entitled to that." But if it's a consistent thing, then they're not entitled to that because that's now you're just being a jerk. So that story that I told you, I thought it was big of that person, and I thought it really hit home on how that doesn't happen very often. And I could be wrong. I mean, has there ever been a boss or immediate supervisor that you guys have come across that you knew was wrong, right? You knew they were wrong, and you kind of called them out on it, respectfully, of course, and then got an apology or a form of an apology. I think that's gangster. Honestly, I think that's gangster, and I think that it's fucking amazing. Because that's not an easy thing to do, especially if you don't want to. Now, if it was fake, I don't care. It was said. Because I will never know. That person will never know. Through any experience, you'll never know. But they wouldn't have done it if they knew that they were right. It's common knowledge. I, for one, always apologize when I'm wrong. It doesn't make any difference, right? It really doesn't. Think about it. If you go, yo, um, I don't know. Let's say you said something wrong to somebody. All right, you know what? Here we go. I said something to somebody recently, and I think they took it the wrong way. And I immediately, no, sorry, scratch that. About 7 minutes later, I went over to that person. I said, you know what? I apologize. I think I may have said that wrong. Now, it wasn't malicious. It just was like a more of it as a matter of fact. And I was a little bit cocky about it because I really knew the answer. Um, that person did deserve that delivery or chess move that I was making in my response to what they said. So I'm okay. I listen. I'm not too small to apologize. I think it goes a long way. Some people take apologies as a big fuck you, and I can't stand those people. Because look, if you're always making mistakes and you're always apologizing, that's one thing. But if you don't really make mistakes and you said something to somebody and they didn't receive it the right way, and then they go and they do something, mm, I don't know. I just apologize. Let's bury the hatchet. What are you harboring it for? Which leads me to my next portion of this of the segment, which is would have been based on the guest speaker, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about protocols. All right. So if you if you're in a building and you're in a situation, and guys, I'm sorry, I keep saying if you're in a building. Some people don't always work in buildings, but if you're at your job or your career, and you happen to have situations similar to the ones we were talking about today, your protocols are stay calm, go to your UFT rep, and if you don't have a UFT rep, because not a lot of places where people work have this or unions, deliver your message correctly. Communication is everything. In my building, there's we need work. We need some work on communication. Um, as a teacher, I can say the email is overly used. How many emails can you read a day, man? Like emails out of my butthole. I mean, I'm literally wiping my butt after taking a number two, and I got emails coming out of my butt. I'm like, oh shit, at gmail.com? Damn, I didn't know I ate that today. Darn it. I threw it like this. I should probably throw it in the toilet, right? That's not how I do it at home. I want you to know that. Don't get it twisted. Who just got here? Is Bella here? Aiden says hi. What? Oh, this is Bella? That Bella? Tell my godson I said I love him and what's up. That's my godson. Or she's sending a message to my godson. So yeah, these emails are crazy. And like you're asked to read them. I mean, come on. I get it. I got a phone, I got a laptop, but I'm really not looking at emails all day. But you don't always read emails. You know what I mean? You don't. I mean, who's reading? If you're backed up with 17 emails in an hour, it's crazy. That's a crazy way to communicate. Because the first thing on my mind, even as a teacher for almost 10 years, I'm not always reading emails. I have a life, and I have a life outside of my career. And even though I don't have kids or mouths to feed or kids to clothe and shelter, I still have a life. Actually, I probably have more of a life than most teachers that have families because they're dedicating their lives to their families. Whereas I don't have that luxury. I have a different kind of luxury. And I'm still not going to look at emails for the rest of my evening. I'm going to sit there and scroll in emails. It's a horrible. It's really honestly for me. I think it's a horrible way to communicate. I mean, I know it's there. They send it, but like, man, to sit there and read emails, especially when the emails don't even make that much sense. But I I gotta go with that. You you have to make the work environment happy because if you're not happy, then there's no reason to be there because you have one life. You got to be happy. You got to enjoy going to work. You got to go. You got to do it. You have to do it, and you have to enjoy. You got to listen. This is why I walk around my building. I, I walk around my building like I shit $20 bills. You know what I mean? Wait, no, 20. I'm the poorest happy guy that ever lived. No, I walk around like I shit $100 bills. That sounds better. um, but I wish he would love this conversation. I wish that guy wasn't sick that I asked. His name is the Birdman. That's what I call him. But he would have loved this segment. But yeah, like I I just think there's so much to work on with communicating. Like I don't uh, I don't necessarily think that you should your whole job should encompass your whole life. You know what I mean? Like when you clock out, man, you're on a. I don't. I try not to bring my work home with me. I try not to. I'll speak on it. How both good and bad. I'll talk to you know my girl. She gets to hear all of the juicy tea. Very, very, very juicy tea every day she gets. And I like to think I know a lot that goes on in that building. Sometimes I don't know shit, but like I didn't know like that there was some stuff going on with some teachers in that building. I had no idea. Um, But hope you're not watching. But I don't really care for either of them. So they both can claw each other's eyes out like cats if they want to. But that's whatever. Um, you're gonna bet on me that dollar? No, sorry. Inside joke. Um, so yeah, is the grass always greener? I don't know. I don't know if you ever were frustrated at your job because of communication and the way people are treated or the way people felt on a certain day or a certain year. Do you go somewhere else and think that it's going to be better? You never know. If I want to go, if I go back to this hat story, yes, I did research. Yes, I moved my chess piece very meticulously. Yes, I had evidence. Yes, I spoke to the right people. But and I'm not saying that's a reason to leave. It's not at all. But let's say I was a petty individual and I was like, I Karened up the situation and I was like, cried about it. Because there's really no reason to cry. Like I said, I handled the situation. I think it was one of the best things I've ever done as far as handling situations. Because like I said, I used to not be good at it. But like situationally, like uh you have ways to do these things appropriately. Um, and I think I may have gotten a different. It might have been received differently somewhere else, or maybe just maybe I go somewhere else now. This person's like, here comes this new guy. Even though he's been doing it for some time, here's this new guy. And he's wearing a hat in my building. And tell him to move the hat. But then here's this whole scenario all over again, or it could be anything. Now, if you know that you're a troublemaker, or you like to raise hell, and you're a very vocal person, I don't know if I'm very vocal. I don't know it. If I am, I don't know it. And I refuse to believe it. I think I just stand up for myself, and I think I'm not afraid of anyone. Like, yeah, every there are countless people that I've seen in a lot of different jobs, not just education, that are really, really intimidated by their admin. And I'm like, what? Why? But you know what? That person I asked why too, but then you could also ask that person, why are you so intimidating? Why aren't you warm and welcoming? I feel like we should hand that person like a chamomile tea. You need a tea, bro. Just take a couple steps back. Maybe do some yoga. I don't know. Do some tai chi. We got a bunch of that across the street from the building. The tai chi people. All you hear is like this beautiful Chinese music, like flutes and stuff, and bows. The bows that it's like that one stringed guitar. And honestly, I gotta be real with you. Sometimes I'm like, maybe I should just join them. I feel like they wouldn't. I don't know. I feel like they wouldn't like not. I think they'd be okay with it. Like I was like, yo, I want to learn, because in the demographics of my neighborhood is a very high percentage of Chinese American, and where I live, on the kind of like a little bit further down in Flushing. There, I live in Koreatown. Like Koreatown is awesome. If you want some really good fried chicken, Korean barbecue, and just so you know, um, they are the best fried chicken makers ever. Um, there's a bunch of different places, but Pelicana is near me, and man, I don't know what they do to this chicken, but it is tasty. Definitely full show. Berries, Popeyes. Oh, I'm like on another segment right now. I'm like doing a food thing. Sorry, guys. Um, yeah, Pelicana, great Korean fried chicken. Anyway, let's move out of here. Let's check the time. I got 9:47. All right, listen. Like I said, I was winging this one all by myself today. I want to just say, listen, I got it off my chest, and that's what this is for. Let's get it off our chest. I like to give this information. I like to use this platform to talk about things that matter. And I think that not just in the Department of Education, I think in any job we all have our issues, we all have our dilemmas. There's things we think about, there's things that we glamorize. Like, listen, I could tell you so many great things about being a teacher. Well, one of them, of course, is God damn it, I love the summers off. Yes. God damn it, I love those 3 long vacations during the year. Yes, I love getting out of work at most of the days 2:35. Yes, I like that I have 10 days that I could use for sick days. Yes, I love the health and medical benefits. I mean, I could go on, but none of that matters if you hate the building that you're in, or you're uncomfortable, or you don't like the people. That's an issue. You got to get that issue. And listen, you got to make it good for you. You have to make it work for you. Um, I know in my building, you know, I'm proud to say this actually. I was a little apprehensive about saying it. I know that some people probably look at me like I got a big fucking dick growing out of my head. Like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? What is he doing? But you know what? It makes sense to me. I don't care if it makes sense to you. And I like speaking up for myself. It makes me feel good. It makes me and I like to test the waters, you know. I like to see, I'm not the best at what I do. I never claim to be. I know what I'm good at, and I know what I suck at. I don't glamorize the things I suck at because that would be stupid. But I will brag to you all day about how revered and loved I am by the student body, because that's who I'm there to engage with. I get so much love in that school from them. I'm overwhelmed sometimes. Sometimes I go home and I cry about it. Just kidding. I don't cry about it. Maybe I do a little bit. But anyway, it's a beautiful thing. But I have days where I feel like that love that I have for my pedagogical prowess is it could be easily taken from right under your feet because of something silly like communication, or somebody didn't apologize to you for something, or fixing something, fi- fixing, mending. I'm not much for philosophy, and I don't think I ever took a philosophy class. But life is too short. Like, we live one life, man. You got to make it great. I'm gonna leave this with you because it's almost time, and I'm gonna be kicked off of Instagram. I might be able to still roll on YouTube, but I had a happy hour drink with my lady today at London Lenny's on Woodhaven Boulevard. We ordered some oysters, and I went into a store where they sold uh, stuff, stuff. They sold stuff. Um, and the kid behind the counter, he was 18. And this guy, he was an entrepreneur. Was asking me about this, that, and the third. Um, and um, I just told him, I said, listen, he has this dream about designing clothes, and he showed me and my lady some articles of clothing, of little pictures, little pictures on his phone that he took. And I said, yo, these are really creative. And look, I'm no art, I'm not a curator or anything. I'm not a fashion designer, but I would wear his stuff. I would wear it. And I asked him all about it. I was very curious. And as I left, I said, dude, I gotta get out of here. I would love to chat with you more. I got something I gotta do. And he actually asked me, he's like, all right. He's like, you gotta go to work. I'm like, no, work is something that you do that's not fun. So I'm gonna go do something that's fun. And I actually explained to him that I'm starting this new podcast. I'm hosting this show. He looked at me. He goes, "You look like you. He looks like you're a host of a podcast." I was like, "Yes, I hit the pinnacle." But he was 18, and the message that I gave him was, "Don't give up on your dreams. Don't let somebody tell you that they're not attainable. Don't let somebody tell you, oh, that shirt is trash or that design is trash. That's one person on a planet of hundreds and hundreds and billions, right? Dude, do what you gotta do. You're young. And I gave him the corniest lie. I said, dude, this is gonna sound corny, but I just couldn't think of anything better to say. I was like, reach for the stars, dude. I was like, dude, go out of this world for what you're passionate about. And I think that goes with for anybody, like go into your career like you want to be there. Go into your career like you want to be there and do the best that you can at it. I have a passion for teaching. I do. I have a passion for the kids that I teach because I want them to to learn from my experiences so I can prepare them for the world. Um, and that's my passion. I don't love everything. I had an idea of how the teaching world was going to look, and there were some corners that I turned that were dark alleys for me. But you know, again, I'm a lion, so I get past all that stuff. But doing these are hobby passions. Like I don't know what'll come of this, and I'm not on here. My best friend Chris was saying to me, and he's real. He's real. He goes, "Yo, do you want to be famous?" And I said, "Not necessarily. I kind of just want to talk about my experiences and give people, an opportunity to express theirs." And I know that this could be a frightening platform because people are generally very, very, conflicted with talking about their job on a live feed. But I I do this because if I don't talk about it, it eats me up. And I don't know. I mean, I could tell my lady, but I don't want to chew off her ear all the time. I'd rather let you all hear it and not let you ask you all to hear it and chime in about it. This platform, I want people to be like, "Yo, I have that similar situation," and then we can kind of come together and be like, "Yo, listen, I think that they handled it pretty well, but I also think there were aspects of what I did that you can use," and I just think that the success rate for me as of late has been pretty good. Um, and I'm no longer, the guy who doesn't say what's on his mind, but I deliver it very well now. And that was the point. And I don't think, and so for me, I'm going to say it's frightening to think about whether the grass is greener. It is, because it may not be, right? My ex wife works in the Bronx. And I don't know. I haven't spoken to her like that since 2016, but I can't imagine it got better. If it did, I know nothing. But if she's still there, oh damn, like that's dedication to a. I mean, I have it good. I'm flushing. Like, I mean, 76% Asian American, and then we have a few other cultural backgrounds. But yo, I have it good. I don't really have a lot to complain about. Like I don't have kids coming in trying to jig me up. I don't have knock on wood. I don't have any of that. So you know I'm pretty blessed. Now I'm going to sign off in a little bit. I want to thank everybody who joined me tonight. Um, because I needed to get it off my chest, and I was kind of hoping some more people would chime in. Thank you, Haley, for chiming in. That was beautiful. Thank you. Um, I want to. What was I going to say? Just my brain just. Oh, right, I'm saying goodbye. So yeah, thank you for everyone for joining us. If you're followers of Ceviche Beach, please check us out as well. This weekend we'll be at Talea. We'll be at Fifth Hammer in Long Island City, and we're going to be at Bridge and Tunnel in Ridgewood. So if you're a little thirsty for some beers here, and some ceviche, come check us out. Other than that, I'm going to give this teacher rating. I'm going to give it. Let's go with effective today because I had to do it alone, and I think I got my message across pretty clear, and I think I got my advice to those who wonder about that stuff. And again, I did this not for just the new teachers. I did it for teachers that have been there for a while that are still, they're not comfortable with situations like that. So from me to you guys, I hope you got something good out of this rant that I went on today. And oh wait, one last thing. I hope I have time. Today's news on TV, it was like second period today. I went into this teacher cap, and they said, "Oh, I wish I could read it, but I'm going to try to say it verbatim." It said, "Why women don't like male podcast hosts." This was hilarious. I couldn't wait to like tell my lady, but I am going to feature it on another show. Here's the reasons why. They said, well, because there are some podcasts that are hosted by women, right? So it says the reasons why women don't like male podcast hosts is because male podcast hosts like to have a mic in front of them while they listen to the sound of their own voice giving unsolicited opinions on pop culture, politics, and whatever is going on in the world. I was like, damn, is that me? But I don't know because like I actually have a message. Like my platform is about something, but there's platforms that are just, they're like just chiming in on whatever. They have guest hosts from wherever. There's no significance. It's just like, people that are doing it. Some of them are already famous, like Joe Rogan. Like he was already famous, and then he started a podcast. The Logan, not the Logan brothers, the Paul brothers. I think that they were already famous. They were like Disney kids, but like they don't really have like I don't think they have like platforms. Like they don't have like they don't have those things that topics that kind of stick into one general subject area. But anyway, that was funny. I thought that was pretty funny how that I walked in. I was like, I have to say something. But I actually don't like the sound of my voice. I think I sound stupid. But and no one's ever said like, no, you don't sound stupid. I'm like, no, I sound stupid. But I don't really care. Like I said, I don't really care. So anyway, from everybody, for everyone out there, thanks for joining me. Stay posted for my next episode on the DOE edition. I I'm trying to do it every Wednesday or Thursday nights, but nothing's really set in stone, and I'm doing my best to work on it. So I appreciate all of you guys. Much love goes out to every single one of you that have been part of the podcast, and thank you. We'll see you later.